So recently I encountered a quite interesting LinkedIn post, which pretty much inspired the videos today. He mentioned that the best person who writes the letter of recommendation is you. Not your preceptors, not your mentor, not your professors, no one else but you, because you own your self-narrative and you will be the best person who writes your own letter of recommendations. Is it ethical to write your own letter of recommendations and have your mentor or preceptors submit it and later on you waive it? Now, please note that this is pretty much a common practice. Students would write their own letter of recommendation, send it to their attending, and then have their attending actually arrange, edit, modify it as necessary, and then upload it to the portal. If you not waive the letter of recommendations, then that will be completely fine. There is nothing unethical about that because you know the content of the letter to begin with. But if you choose to waive the letter of recommendations, then at least initially, I thought if you waive the letter of recommendations, it communicates to the program that number one, the content of the letter is the writer's independent assessment of the student. And two, the student have no prior knowledge about the content whatsoever. So the post probably referring to some kind of different thing, job application, college applications, whatever that is, that's not involving waiving and not waiving the letter. Trying to confirm there, I replied, and I said that, well, that's quite an interesting thought, for me, it's like interesting. Maybe it's a very common recommendations. It's just probably I'm the only person that haven't really heard about this. I mentioned surely you're not actually referring to residency application process, right? Because you need to waive the letter. And then he responded that actually it's completely ethical and nothing wrong with that. He's suggesting that what you do is you prepare the draft, you send it to the attending who willing to write the letter of recommendations, and then the attending will arrange, modify as necessary, so he will approve or disapprove the claims that you made about yourself and then upload it, and later on you waive it. At that time, I feel like this comes down to the definitions of waiving the letter to begin with. And so I was looking to some Google search to find out what is actually the official definition of waiving the letter, or what it actually means to waive the letter. Apparently, waiving the letter of recommendation, at least what I found, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but as far as I can tell, and based on my research, waiving the letter of recommendations only means that you waive the right to read the letter that was uploaded, which means that you waive the right to read the final version of the letter. Because of this fact, I kind of changed my perspective now. I would have to admit that would be the most strategic way to improve your chance of matching. Like, really? Does that make sense? I mean, if there is nothing unethical or wrong to do that, that would be, logically speaking, the most strategic way for you to match. Because it's true that you own your self-narrative. And you also know which programs you're applying to. That way, you can kind of match what's the content of your letter to match what's the program's looking for in an applicant. Let's say you are applying to an academic program. So you're going to highlight your enthusiasm or about the research, whatever. If you're applying to community program, then you're going to highlight more on your core values of serving the community and such. You see? So you can kind of like steer it in the direction that would be most beneficial to you. That would be the most strategic way. And I would imagine, of course, if you want to apply the technique, you're not gonna ask your mentor, hey, can I write the letter of recommendation and you can later on upload it? You're not gonna say it that way. But if you say it in a different way, that it can come across differently. So what you're gonna say is, let's say you are at the end of your rotations, and then the attending willing to write you a letter of recommendations. I really appreciate that you're willing to write the letter of recommendations for me. I know it can take quite a lot of your time. If you're okay with it, I don't mind drafting the letter of recommendations and maybe I put some of the personal statement and some of my CV there, so it will make it easier for you. Of course, if you're okay and agree with it. Now, if you say it that way, then it will come across as if you're just trying to help your attending save their time. And you're aware that uploading letter of recommendations, drafting, writing, correcting everything, and then uploading the letter of recommendation does take time. I mean, I have uploaded some of the letter of recommendations for non-US IMG that rotate with me in the office before. So I have uploaded couple letter of recommendations. Initially, I mean, you still have to figure out, and it will take time to how to go to the portal, put in your username, password, etc. And then I have to draft the letter, and then I have to make sure that everything is correct, right? The name, the date, the grammar. Well, thank God with ChatGPT, I can just use ChatGPT to correct all the grammar. So that's make it easier, but it still take your time. So if you mention to your mentor that, well, I would like to help you save your time. If you don't mind, only if you agree with it, I can make an initial draft of the letter of recommendations. So that way you can try to be a little bit bold and then adjust it to your advantage, really, because you know what the kind of program you're applying for. You see, so it would be the most strategic way, I would have to admit. But here's the thing, to me at least, I would like to hold the highest standard, most ideal letter of recommendations possible. And I think the most ideal and high standard of letter of recommendations would be the one that is completely unbiased, independent assessment of the student, and then the student does not have any prior knowledge about the content at all. So I think that would give the highest value to the program and the program directors. Think about it that way. You have to put yourself in the program or the program director's perspective. In order for us to kind of understand and be on the program director's perspective, we'll just use an example. Let's use my USMLE Test Taking Strategies course as an example. If you don't know, I have a free USMLE Test Taking Strategies course that helps you with general approach to question, how to give the best answer on a 50-50 situations, and the time management so you will not run out of time when you're doing USMLE. It's all free. You can use the link down description below to grab it. Now, let's assume that it's not free. Okay. Let's say the USMLE Test Taking Strategies online course is $500. So you don't want to just put your credit card in and then purchase it immediately. You will think twice, right? If it's free, you just grab them right away after you finish watching this video. If it's not free, then you will think about it. And usually there will be some form of a sales page if I'm trying to sell something, right? And then you try to look at the claim that I made. I would say this is the best test taking strategies course. It will boost your score instantly. It will help your time management. You will not run out of time. Those are basically my claims. Okay, all of these are my claims about the course. Of course, you're going to want to know like what other people say about the course. Testimonials. The letter of recommendation is basically testimonials about you. I mean, your personal claims about you is your personal statement, but the testimonials from someone else about you is the letter of recommendation. So that's why this is a very similar situation here. Now, if you want to purchase the course, you want to hear testimonials from other people. Now, if there is somebody out there that mentioned that, hey, this is a great course, it's amazing, I've never seen this kind of course before, and it really helps my 50-50, my USMLE Step 2 CK score jumped from 230 to 250. I mean, I think every USMLE test takers should take this course because it's just awesome. Now, if you read that testimonials that someone else, independently vouch for this course, like which one you're gonna believe more? My own claims or someone else? Now let's put something in the middle. Let's say there's a student that going through the course, not really liking the course. He just feels like it's an okay course. It's fine. Yeah, it's helpful. But he's not like, oh, it's amazing. It's nothing like that. It's just, yeah, it's good. And then I happened to approach this student. Hey, do you like the course? And he said, yeah, it's a good course. It's a nice course. Nice to know. And I said, well, you know what? It would be really helpful if you can post in your LinkedIn or social media or YouTube or wherever, if he has YouTube or Instagram, that you like the course, you feel that it's useful. So I don't want to take up your time. I'm just going to write down a draft. You can choose to arrange and change it whatever you want, It's going to be pretty basic. It's just really going to help me. I'm going to write the draft, send it to you, and if you don't mind, you can post it. It's going to really help me. And the students say, yeah, why not? I enjoy the course anyway. I send it to him and then he posts it. Now, of course, as a customer, you don't know whether that is like completely legit independent or not. But what do you feel about it? Let's assume that you know that this is completely my claim, this is independent, and then there is this in the middle. Which one gives you the highest value? Like gives you the truest, if that's even the most truth or truest value of the course, that you believe more about the course, that gives you the authentic or most honest opinion about the course. But which one you're going to believe more? That's the same thing from the program director's perspective. That's what initially I thought waiving the letter of recommendations means. I was thinking that waiving the letter of recommendations will reach you over here. Not waiving is here, and this is probably your personal statement because everything is about you, right? But not waiving is the middle, and then waiving the letter of recommendations is right over here. But when I put the post in LinkedIn, it seems like there is kind of like split opinion. Most people apparently think that the student does not contribute to the writing of the letter of recommendations when they waive it. But there are some that think it that way. It's kind of obvious already that it would be a split opinion. So from the program director's perspective, if they see you waive the letter, there are some program directors that in mind, they know that even though it's waived, the student might contribute to write the letter of recommendations, since it's a common practice. There are certainly some programs that think there's no contribution at all. They probably have no idea. I'm pretty sure it's going to be kind of like split. Whether that's 70-30, 80-20, 90-10, I don't actually know. I didn't do the survey or anything like that. Probably one day I should do it. Certainly the opinions are kind of split. So because I want to uphold the highest standard and give students like the best value possible, I'm going to kind of change my practice on writing the letter of recommendations now. Because initially I thought waiving is going to make you this completely unbiased type of testimonials. So from now on, if you happen to rotate with me in my office, if I write you a letter of recommendations, I will have to write and make it clear that this would be completely unbiased and independent assessment of the student. The student has no prior knowledge of the content that I'm writing here. And as far as I know, the student will waive the letter of recommendations. So I think that would be the best way to get the letter of recommendations to the highest standard. Now, if you are if you're non-US IMG and you're trying to apply for a match, so what would be your approach here? Again, I will have to admit that the practice that would increase your chance the best would be to strategically try to draft your own letter of recommendations. But if you also as a student, you want to uphold the highest standard and ideal version of letter of recommendations, then you can choose to tell your mentor if they're willing to write your letter of recommendations and you plan to waive it and you believe that he or she going to write you a good letter, a strong letter, then you can request your attending, hey, I'm really appreciate your willingness to write letter of recommendation for me. There's only one request about the letter of recommendations. I'm going to waive the letter of recommendations. Can you write in the letter that this is going to be your full independent assessment about me and I have no prior knowledge and I don't contribute in drafting the letter in anyway, because I found that couple programs think that even if I waive the letter of recommendations, there are some programs that would think that the students contribute. So if you put that statement, that would be really helpful for me. Somewhere along that line. So you want to hold the highest standard of letter of recommendations, the fully unbiased, this type of testimonials about you, then you can do that. So it's your choice. So that's it. That's the video today. I hope you enjoy and like it. Remember, I have the USMLE Test Taking Strategies. It's free, not $500. And if you're going for a USC, I also have USCE Essentials PDF for non-US IMG. It included 30 plus hospitals that offer USCE for non-US IMG, and not only for visiting students, but postgraduate doctors as well. And it's free, so you can just use the link down description below to grab it. All right. I'll see you again in the next video.